Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silver's happy Monday start to a new week. We always love that. Hopefully, the week treats you guys well. And just like the Chiefs who are back into training camp action, we're back for another week here at Chiefs Latest. And if you haven't already, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. That's right. We have daily That's right. I said it. Daily videos Monday through Friday here at Cheifs Latest. You're not going to want to miss any of the action. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there's been a lot going on over the weekend in training camp, but there's a new trade rumor. You know, we love to go over all the new trade and free agent rumors before we dive into any of the action. So let's go ahead, talk about Jalen Polk's because he has a shaky status right now in New England. The wide receiver room, it's crowded, so that has the trade radar buzzing. He's a former 2024 second rounder, and he could be a sneaky trade target for Kansas City. 12 catches, 87 yards, and 2 touchdowns last season for him. Yeah, underwhelming, but his 10 catches in his first 6 games, I think that definitely showed some potential, some flashes. However, we know the team, the leadership, and his role varied week by week there in New England. So it's a lot to just put it all on him. However, he's likely going to be squeezed out of the starting rotation with the Patriots because of their depth chart. They have Diggs, Hollins, and newly added Kyle Williams. So at 6'1", 203 pounds, he's more of your physical high point bully who's going to dunk on, cornerbacks in the red zone. And unlike KC speedsters, which seems to be all of them in the wide receiver room, Worthy and Rice, his route breaks, his strong hands, I think that's going to thrive and be paired differently and well with Mahomes than what we see. But, here's the bad thing. He has no special teams factor. And I think that's almost a must when you look at Kansas City wide receivers who are further down the depth chart and his limited 2024 stats like we saw last year. I think that raises some Sky Moore kind of red flags. Again, though, a day 3 pick trade, I think that fits Casey's plans right now, fits their cap. Again, it just really comes down to, is he a project or can he be a plug and play playmaker right away? I mean, I'm intrigued by this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think this is something that the Chiefs should and could look at. But again, he's got to prove that he's not another Sky Moore type receiver to justify this move. Again, last season, 12 catches, 87 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. But in college, 69 catches, 1,159 yards, and 9 touchdowns, and had a low 5.5% drop rate. He only dropped 4 passes when he was in his final season of college. So his fit with Mahomes, again, his fearless presence, especially at the catch point, he's going to high point. He's got a knack for muscling through defenders. That's going to be vital and huge for the Chiefs when it's coming to, your slants and your dig routes. And that's going to give Andy Reid a chain moving enforcer, someone who can bully defensive backs, and especially underneath, who can reel in the contested grabs in traffic. You don't really have that with these more speedsters in your current wide receiver room. And again, sure hands, physical, explosive burst after the catch. I think that makes him a pretty good weapon to supercharge Reed's, short to immediate passing attack. But again, it's a low risk, high upside trade target for Casey's wide receiver core, but his lack of special teams and even his unproven role, which again, New England wasn't the most perfect situation, but again, an unproven role that could make you wary. But I think it could make you wary of another Sky Moore type flop. But again, I think that is something that the Chiefs should at least look at, because if you can get him for, a 6th or 7th round, pick, I think that's a fair trade-off. Well, speaking of the wide receiver room, the Chiefs are just trying to keep some depth and just try to keep it together a little bit. We know the injury scare has the Chiefs just kind of scrambling right now, and so that signals the signing of Keyshawn Smith. Yeah, that's the latest kind of what I call a Band-Aid fix to this depth chart. We know that Rashee Rice is probably going to face anywhere from a 4 to 6 game suspension, and Worthy, Brown, Moore, they're facing some form of injury or another, even if it's an injury scare. So Smith's addition is a low risk, again, dart throw. All of these are low risk for the Chiefs. 527 yards, 5 touchdowns at SMU in 2024. Those aren't game-changing numbers, but they definitely earned him a camp invite, enough to impress what the Chiefs saw. So Smith He was signed by another AFC West team, the Raiders, as an undrafted free agent in May, but he was waived not too long ago, I believe on July 22nd. It's got a fast 44.47, 15 yards average per reception. That just shows that he's got potential, as a separator, but he's buried behind what we think Royals and Thornton are going to get those spots right now. So there's really no clear path to the 53-man roster. And Mahomes, I think, just needs a more proven weapon. Again, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, they're out there. That would give KC the veteran anchor that they need to weather, Rice's absence and some of these nagging injuries. But again, these are just camp bodies, just someone to have out there. Maybe, hopefully, luckily, you might find a gem. Very unlikely, highly unlikely, but you never know. So, Smith's hustle, it's great. But again, long shot to even move the needle unless he lights up camp. But at SMU last year, 33 catches, 527 yards, 5 touchdowns. In over 5 seasons, he collected 1,581 yards and 13 touchdowns from 106 catches over 57 games. So his quickness off the line, his ability to find the soft spots in the zone, that could add a spark on third down plays. But again, he's a developmental bet. He's not a fix for any of KC's wide receiver problems right now, especially against the AFC West secondaries you're going to face. So his signaling, again, a death patch for a wide receiver room that's knowing that Rice's suspension is coming down the ladder here soon, and there's some nagging injuries. But again, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, I think that would bring the veteran reliability that KC desperately needs. But the wide receivers aren't the only ones getting some help right now. That's right, the cornerback room also looking at getting some competition and some death patches there because it's also in a panic mode. The team, again, just trying to piece something together to keep Spags secondary intact, especially second and third teams, because we had injuries to Darius Rush, Eric Scott, Deion Bush. We know that Christian Fulton still has that lingering knee issue, so he's on the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. That's kind of thinned out this unit just a little bit. So the Chiefs acted fast. They waived Rush, they waived Scott with injury designations, and they signed Azizi Hearn and Johnny Carter after tryouts. Now, Hearn is a 6'1", 204-pound journeyman with his 5th team. Sorry, he's been around a little bit. He led UCLA with 7 pass deflections in 2022, bringing savvy to the boundary. Now, Carter was an undrafted rookie from Houston. He flashed 22 tackles and 3 pass deflections in 2024, but he's more, that raw talent that you have to work with. So neither is a lock, obviously, but they're fresh legs to spark up some camp reps. Rush and Scott could return to IR if they clear waivers, but the Chiefs might want, Hearn's experience or just Carter's upside for a spot. Hearn's size, his coverage instincts add flexibility to Spags' zone-heavy schemes, while Carter's physicality is more impressive, impressed looks. But again, both need to prove that they can hang with NFL wide receivers to even stick with the Chiefs. So the Chiefs cornerback room, it's reeling from some injuries or just some potential scares. And while Hearn and Carter do fill some gaps right now, Fulton's PUP status and a thin depth chart could haunt KC during camp. But I think these faces could step up, or at least they could get the chemistry going to the point that they need. So I'm not too worried there, but the Chiefs do add some depth to health there at the cornerback room. And let's just talk about some camp updates, especially on Sunday, because as we know, they are currently working. So Sunday's camp at Missouri Western, it was another day with progress and some question marks. That's most days here at training camp. Well, Sky Moore's back from his hamstring tweak, but not really. Only 4 individual drills and stretching, so that's still signaling some caution there. Josh Simmons is locked in at left tackle. Jawan Taylor, though, and Jalen Moore, they're still battling, and they're still splitting right tackle reps at this moment. And then we know that Taylor's knee scope from March is still a concern after he gutted it out since week 5 last year. That's crazy. Good for him. But that he could fight it out, but not good for him, the fact that he has to deal with this now. But Chris Fulton's, again, still on that PUP list, as we talked about in the last segment. Though Reed is optimistic that he is going to be back soon. He is now running, apparently, and Hollywood Brown's ankle is improving, but the clock's ticking for him as well. But on the running back side, Isaiah Pacheco, some good news. His route running looks sharper, and Elijah Mitchell's already a pass-catching stud, so hopefully out of the backfield we'll have more of a threat there. And Chris Roland Wallace is continuing to impress. He broke up 2 passes, and he was holding nickel for both units. Mahomes, he was surgical in red zone 11 on 11s, hitting Worthy, Royals, Brownlee, and Gray for scores. Fucker, he went 8 of 10 for field goals, clutch up to 49 yards, but he was kind of shaky beyond 50. Those were his 2 misses, but he did end the day on a 60-yarder in that red zone firepower. Mahomes had some red zone precision He spread touchdowns to 4 targets. 4. That's right. We're growing in that red zone. Pacheco's growing route polish. That signals, again, hopefully a versatile attack that is going to overwhelm defenses, keep them honest, especially if the Chiefs lines hold and Brown can return healthy. So Sunday's camp showed more. Brown again progressing. Simmons anchoring the left tackle. They feel comfortable with him there. And Mahomes is still dealing it pretty well. So some positive there's, but we're still dealing with Fulton's pup status. Again, that's going to raise some flags. Taylor's knees, that could raise some flags as well. But again, the season, still got a few weeks till the regular season, but preseason right around the corner. So we're going to see some of these in action. Well, that is all that we have for this lovely Monday here at Cheifs Latest. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. I am your host, Calvin Silvers. Go ahead, go down in the comments too. I love reading your guys' thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you thought about this day's episode. And if you like any of the trade potentials I talked about or any of the new depth pieces that the Chiefs brought in, and let me know what you think and have seen from camp so far. Once again, I am your host, Calvin Silvers, here at Cheifs Latest. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, have a good one.